Okay. Hey guys, welcome to the Karan show. Today we have amazing personality. He is our senior. And he is founder of Bytrees, and he has, he has founding this company more than 13 years back, and he's amazing personality. He's worked in many big companies like Microsoft. So I am really excited, to learn about how to run a company, how to start a company. Actually, this is a very challenging task, but Vinayak sir will make it easy. Will share everything with us. And thank you, Vinayak sir, for coming to the Karam show. And I'm really excited for the discussion. Thank you for giving the time here.
Thanks, Karam. I'm excited. You might want to take "sir" off, otherwise, a lot of people will be confused what that means. I think it's a AIT lingo. But
Yes,
yes, I'm
yes.
very excited, and also congratulations to you for bringing together a lot of entrepreneurs, sharing these ideas with many others, and I'm sure uh, many people will dream big after your shows. So good luck, and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Yes, sir, we would like to know about your journey. How did you get started? Where did you get the energy? And we have kind of so many mental blocks. When we start, will it be
Mhm.
successful or will it be failure? So, what the challenges you faced in this journey, and how did you overcome all those challenges?
Sure. I think it's harder to summarize all of it, but I'll see how best I can share it with you. I think it's a culmination of many things, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, the day you start is not really the day the journey starts. I think journey starts much earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It literally starts from your childhood, the kind of exposures that you've gotten during your
Oh.
childhood,
Mm-hmm.
how parents have trusted you, your siblings and friends. I think it shapes a thought process. I
Mm-hmm.
was also very fortunate to have parents who gave a lot of freedom in the
Okay.
childhood,
Mm-hmm.
also trusted us with our decisions. And then the second best thing that happened to me was joining the college, Army Institute of Technology. So I come from a small village in Himachal. So my exposure to the world was fairly limited till I came to Pune and
Mm-hmm.
started studying in Army Institute of Technology, and a wonderful institute, awesome friends for life. But one of the things that I picked there is the attitude,
Okay.
which we call it as AIT
Yes.
attitude,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Sir,
Uh,
yes.
I think that changed. Those 4 years changed a lot of things from how I looked at life. Then we also, while we had campus placements in Cyprus during that time, we hit 2002, which was a bad year. We actually did not get our joining, so we were laid off even before we joined our jobs. And I
Okay.
think that was a very important event because that leveled your egos quite a bit.
Hmm.
I still share stories of me going to for an interview and getting rejected in a crowd of 100 people.
Hmm.
A watchman taking an interview and asking me what is oops, and then tearing my 2 rupees 2 rupees
Okay.
resume in a dustbin that you know nothing. So a lot of
Okay.
grounding, leveling happened. We worked for free. I was
Hmm.
also very lucky to work in a finally get a job, merely like 8,000 rupees in a company which was full of IITians and AITians. It was called Extent Prize. Some of my
Okay.
seniors, I hold him in high regard. In fact, my first mentor,
Hmm.
Rajiv Hans, I still call him a mentor. It's been close to 20 years. AK
Okay.
Biju, some of the college juniors, and even some of the IITians that we were working with also shaped. And I saw that here is a 22 people company, and having a startup is a possibility,
Hmm.
right? That was the first seeding that okay, there is something called a startup and this is how it works, and it seems doable, right?
Okay.
But then obviously you are pretty early in your career. Oracle happened because of the good work that I had done there, a lot of hard work that I put in. I keep telling a lot of young kids that don't look for work life balance the moment you start,
Okay.
because that's your time to learn. I
Hmm.
remember, and I'm sure a lot of people have those stories. The fact that I worked on weekends, late nights till like 2 o'clock most of the days. When I
Hmm.
appeared for my interview with Oracle, they were blown away. Like, and I thought that was quite okay, but they thought 10 months experience guy knew so much. right? And
Okay.
that opened doors. So I think never shy away from hard work. Don't
Mhm.
think that you're working too hard for the company. Actually, whatever time you spend, you're actually spending for yourself, right?
Okay.
Then Oracle happened. I think Oracle was a mixed experience. So especially when you go from a small company, you think of a bigger company as like, wow, the world will change. And I think to
Yes,
my
yes.
surprise, I'm sure Oracle is a fairly large organization, but I saw that it, there were so many limitations, right? A lot of
Mm.
dreams and things that I had on my mind weren't true, right? So that
Okay.
was another level of leveling that happened. Like people are just like us,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
They're not
Yes.
rocket scientists.
Mhm.
And then I shifted to Microsoft, which I think just like AIT was a the best thing that happened to me.
Okay.
I think this is an organization that I will recommend anyone to work with because of the culture they have. I
Mm.
think it is in Microsoft that the great colleagues, my mentors, my managers, who were just awesome, sort of gave me a confidence that I can start. I luckily had friends around me like Jivtesh, who's an AIT junior, like 1 year junior to me. They were already doing startups. I spoke to them and they said that it's difficult, but it's doable, right?
Okay.
And I was hardly like 28 years. Luckily, I had not taken a home loan. I
Mhm.
wasn't married.
Mhm.
And I thought there's not anything more that I can do at Microsoft. And I was in a hurry. So I wanted to do a lot of things, a lot of energy. And then I started,
Okay.
and I think that journey began in 2008. A lot of fancy ideas
Mhm.
that I will do products, I will do services, and I will be the next XYZ.
Mm.
I think a lot of leveling happened, which continues to happen, and we've
Yes.
done many pivots thereafter. But honestly speaking, all these things culminated together for me to give the confidence and the energy that I can do it. So I'm thankful to all of them. I'm just a product of my surroundings.
Okay. Okay. That's a wonderful story, sir, and that's really important. We go for we face these challenges, and many things happen in the way. So, sir, how do what are the important tasks for a startup to focus on initially? Because there are so many things, like you said, on the product, on the services, on the management, so many things. So what are the important tasks you've focused on, and you must focus on initially when you start?
Right. See, I think startup is a very generic word.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of things that apply to one kind of startup do not apply to the other and thereafter, right? So I have a very limited view, but we work with a lot of startups. So we've seen why they succeed and why they don't succeed. So don't take
Mm-hmm.
it as a template really.
Mm-hmm.
But I think uh, if I look back, right, I think I can probably talk about things that I did right and things I didn't do right. And
Mm-hmm.
if I had an opportunity, what would I change?
Mm-hmm.
I think most important is know yourself,
Okay. Okay.
right?
Okay.
Uh, like what drives you,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you are someone who's like a hardcore techie,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if startup is for you, right?
Okay.
Uh, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that if you're a hardcore techie,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot.
Mm-hmm.
I think how much risk appetite you have, what is the kind of lifestyle you want for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
uh, what are the liabilities you have. Like I keep telling that I was very fortunate that I had parents who came from defense forces who had their double pensions, so I had no
Mm-hmm.
liabilities, right?
Okay.
There was no pressure from parents. Also,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I had really monetary aspirations even today. Like I things don't excite me if it's a lot of money, right?
Monetary.
So a lot of people talk
Mm-hmm.
about validation, right?
Mm-hmm.
um, it can be, but not for me.
Yes.
And so I think these are very fundamental things, right? Which is know yourself. Like are you a gritty person? Like can you be at it for like next 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
And if you say yes, then ask yourself, what did you do in the last 20 years where you
Mm-hmm.
stuck to one thing for 5 years and did not give up? See, it's very easy to say, oh, I'm really gritty, I play soccer,
Mm-hmm.
and till the match gets over, I give my 100%, right? I don't give up. But that's a very short period, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak, right? So first thing is, are you really gritty that, and what evidence that you have in your past life, which tells you that despite the failures or despite not getting any accolades, you kept on with it, right? So that's the mental makeup that you need. I personally feel that you need to have a flair for networking.
Okay.
You
Okay.
need to be a people person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something which came naturally to me.
Okay.
I mean, even today, people joke that if you need an update on a class, then you call Vinayak,
Okay.
right? He will have an update on all his classmates, and it's just that I like picking up the phone and talking. There is no agenda out there.
Mm-hmm.
But networking is important. So first is know yourself. Basically, are you really cut out for this work? And most importantly, can you deal with failures? Can you be at it despite seeing no success in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, first few years are really hard,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you also don't know how to run a business.
That's right.
It's not that
Very true.
people make it difficult, but you don't know, you're learning. So it's like you've dropped with a parachute and now you're trying to stitch the parachute together, right? So are you going to give up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Second is, I think networking, I feel, came really handy for me till I started at the age of 28. Uh, I was like in touch with everyone, but I didn't know that I'm in touch with everyone because I'm going to start the company. So when I started, it was amazing. And I'll tell you, in the 13 years, there's hardly one project or one product we would have done which is out of the sales activity. So all the business at Bytridge that we get actually comes through my friends and referrals, right?
Okay.
So we of course make friends with our customers, then they refer us to another customers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think in a business that I run, I think being able to network, being a people person is important. Also, you may be a great coder or somebody with a great business acumen, but
Mm-hmm.
ultimately your vision has to be realized by people. Okay,
Okay.
today you
Okay.
saw Jeff Bezos flying
Mm-hmm.
to space,
Mm-hmm.
and he did make a comment which became controversial, but he said it's the Amazon employees and the customers who paid for my trip,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the fact remains that he, even if he wanted, or let's say your this guy, the other Virgin Atlantic guy, or
Mm-hmm.
Elon
Mm-hmm.
Musk,
Mm-hmm.
like you alone cannot build the rocket,
True.
right?
True.
You
True.
alone cannot go up. And there are solopreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
which I basically call them as freelancers.
Mm-hmm.
You can build an app which has like 1 in a million chance, which suddenly becomes $1 million app with your coding.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the probability is low. So I think building a
Okay.
team, taking good care of them,
Mm-hmm.
and I think making sure that they also gain in process is extremely important for you to succeed as an entrepreneur, right? I'm really blessed. In fact, this is one of the biggest questions I carry with me when I walk into my office or when I start my day is, why would the 80 people that who work with me will come to office today? Like, what is it in it for them, right?
Okay.
And what can I do to make it better for them? And I think every day when I end the day, I cut a very sorry figure in front of myself and say, nahi yaar, kuch aur bhi ho sakta tha, right? And
Okay.
that's where the grit, right? I mean, today, the business that we have is not like Google or Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
where people will suddenly become millionaires
Mm-hmm.
overnight. Even if we were to give stocks, they won't make sense because we are an outsourced product development company. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
about money, but it's about the experiences that they're getting. It's about the exposure they are getting. Are they able to learn? Are they the first ones to essentially get hands-on to the latest technology? We work with Microsoft. So are we going to make sure that we have a good guy out there who gets an opportunity to work on Microsoft product? So there's
Mm-hmm.
so many ways in which we can still make it valuable for our team members. I have a joke, not a joke, but this is something I tell in all my all hands, right? We have 80 people in the room. You take all of them out of this room. What is Bytridge? It's nothing,
Okay. Okay. Right.
right? I
So
mean, it
right.
has zero value. It has zero, or maybe a little bit of brand name or some customers that you have, but it is because of people. So I think third thing is one. The second one is that you have to be someone who networks,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but you also need to be a people person.
Right.
Wherein you take care of people. You may not have the millions in the funding, but you can still take care of people. Ensure that you are enabling them for their aspirations. So when people leave Bytreach, I'm happy for them if they really got to a good company, if they really get a good package. And the question that I ask is whether you spend 6 months, you spend 2 years, you spend 5 years with us, did you grow? Did you become a better professional? And if the answer is yes, then I think I've done my job, right? And there are some who are still trusting us for the last 10 years, 7 years with us. So that is a larger burden. So I think this is a very first, in my opinion, that is important. And then comes idea.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Right? So I think this is your preparation, right? You have to ask yourself that if, let's say, you're working in a company, did you really take care of your team? Or did you trick them and say, कि हाँ अगली बार तेरे को bonus दिलाऊंगा, या I'll get you a hike. Finally, when the hike came, you said, यार budget नहीं मिला. Right? If you're that kind of a person, you're gonna do it a lot worse when you
Yes,
start your
yes.
company, because you'll be even more constrained. So I think these
Yes.
were the building blocks, in my opinion. And as I said, when you lead people, you are a people person. You have to have very strong integrity. So do you trick people? I think people will figure you out very quickly.
Yes,
Now
yes.
comes the idea, right? What is that you're trying to do? And then you have to ask, so you have the ingredients in place. Now you have to ask, why do you want to do it? Why on the earth you are working at Microsoft, earning the best compensation you can get, best job stability, इज्जत भी है, people respect you. Why do you want to
Yes,
give
yes.
it up? Is it really worth it, right? And that why will be different for everyone. Like I can't tell you, but that why has to have a resounding reason, not in terms of saying, "Kare, I might, in this job I'm only getting this. If I build a company, I will make this much money." Money will always be a byproduct. If you look at Google, if you look at Facebook, if you look at Microsoft, they became good because, or they became so big because they were passionate about the problem they were solving and the value they were creating.
Okay.
And then the money came, right?
Okay.
So understand why you're doing whatever you're doing, even if you're starting a training institute, like how you will be the best. And that growth mindset is extremely important. Then after you figure out the idea, focus heavily on the customer.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I think you have to literally be willing to sleep with your customers to understand their psyche on what they really need, right? And that's really a mantra these days. If you really see user experience as a function has become very, very important these days. So if you're running a business, you really have to understand your end customer very well, for whom you're going to offer a solution, right? And you never look at them as an adversary. Some of the startups that I've seen grow really well, do very good exits, are the ones who were like, while Amazon says that we are obsessed with customers, but I've seen this at play with my eyes with some of the start companies that we work with, that they're heavily obsessed with their customers and they really focus on what they want. They don't lose sight of that, and they go to great lengths. Like some of the stories that I can tell you are like amazing in some sense, right? So then idea and for who the idea is. The last one that I cannot give any advice on is, I think, around the fundraising. We have never done the fundraising, so we are sort of self-funded. We do reasonably fine. But what I really notice is that if you've been able to create a very strong uh, business with strong fundamentals, then you should, explore raising funds from people who align with your value system and who you think can open doors for you, right? What I notice is a lot of startups die because they didn't raise enough funds. And then they really hit into the constraints which were only solvable by money, and they died. So I think this is an area I cannot give any gyan on. I think because we are in a services business, we don't take any money out really from the business, so we keep investing back to the business. But some of these product startups that are there, I think having funds or having investors is important, because they also keep you on your toes. They also bring a lot of value, and having money in the bank means that you can take bigger bets, you can attract better talent in the market, right? And which makes a difference, right? So I think you should not shy away from that. Ours is a different business model. So that is the last one, and then magic happens.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
really wonderful, sir. Really, because I'm correlating with each point that you said. Discovering yourself or knowing yourself. I took 2 3 years to understand myself. Who am I? Really, and that
Mm-hmm.
opened my mind actually. And
Mm-hmm.
after that, knowing myself, I started doing little bit of the things, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing just little bit of the things. But after knowing myself, all the things started shaping up, and then
Right. Yeah.
yes.
Because it's not just about what you can do, but what you cannot do is
Mhm.
important, right? Or something that you're not comfortable with, right? And that also shapes things. And trust me, things you are comfortable with, I may not be comfortable with, and that's absolutely fine. So
Hmm.
know
Hmm.
yourself first is really, really important. In fact, entrepreneurship is actually self-discovery. You discover so many things about yourself. There are things that I'm not very proud of, but
Mhm.
because I was an entrepreneur, it gave me an opportunity to put me in that difficult situation,
Mhm.
and said, oh, okay, now this is not my cup of tea, right?
Yes,
So I
absolutely.
think people should also look at this as, or I see that it's a journey of self discovery.
Absolutely. Okay,
Yeah.
this is amazing, sir. This is amazing, and this happened to me, so I am definitely correlating with this point, and the other points you said, definitely all of these points. Okay, sir.
Mhm.
So my next question is, how do you make long-term plans or long-term strategy for growth? So how that goes?
Yeah, so I am not very good at it, and I usually am fairly honest in that
Mhm.
front.
Mhm.
Uh, I think we have a vision to be the best outsourced product development firm
Okay.
in the world,
Okay.
uh, and that's the north star for us. But if you were to tell me that, okay, what is that you're going to do in the next 5 years,
Mhm.
I may not be able to break it down to like 1,000 feet, right?
Okay.
So I think this question, I think, is best answered if I had done something on those lines. We typically are looking at 2 years ahead, to be honest. And in fact, we've started this exercise. It's so interesting that you asked this question, that 1 to 2 years is fine because that is more like survival. That's tactical in nature,
Mhm.
right? Uh, but what is our strategy for next 5 years? And a lot of these are MBA buzzwords, and I am not an MBA. But when you sit down and run the business, and when you really look at these things make so much sense, right?
Mhm.
That okay, I'm being very tactical. That okay, 1 year, this is the total headcount. These are the four customers, that great products that we are building for, and
Mhm.
this is a potential revenue. Then maybe we can spend this much, right? This is very tactical,
Okay.
quarterly and yearly, right? But I
Mhm.
think 5 years, 3 to 5 years is really where your strategy makes sense. And we haven't made any plans which are looking at 5 years, because I think for the first, to be honest, 6 7 years, it was literally about surviving,
Mhm.
having money in the bank to pay the salaries the next month. So I think we've now have a freedom in the last 2 to 3 years where we can afford to say, okay, let's look at 2 years. Let's look at investments in this function. We want to build UX practice. We want to
Mhm.
build product management.
Mhm.
And we know that for the next 2 years, we're not going to make any money, but our business can fund that, right?
Okay.
So from 1 year, we moved to 2 years, and now we are saying, okay, what 5 years? Yes. So
Okay.
it is important. And I think I may be wrong, but when you start your business, I think it's very hard for anyone to think of 5 years, right? So it's okay if somebody says, what is your long term plan, and just say nothing, right? And you don't have to make it up, or don't feel burdened,
Mhm.
because 1 year to pata hi nahi chalta hai.
Right,
Matlab,
right, sir, right.
you're clueless on what's going on all around,
Mhm.
right? Like
Mhm.
somebody who was a techie, even today I tell people I don't understand sales. We actually don't do any proactive sales,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
So and there are things, there are accounts, there are people management, HR, customer relationship management. So all these things you will figure out in the first year. So don't be hard on yourself.
Mhm.
It's okay. And if you have a plan of 5 years, brilliant. I mean, I know one person I really hold in very high regard by the name Janaki Ram, MSV. He's my, like, quote unquote idol. He had a 5 year plan, and I looked at him, and it looked so amazing, and he actually executed it better than what he had shown me on the day one. So
Okay.
also, don't believe that you cannot make one. You
Mhm.
can, even at the start,
Mhm.
but don't, you know, be hard on yourself if you cannot. At least I haven't been hard on myself. It's been 13 years and I'm doing all right so far.
Okay.
But
Yes,
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 in
sir.
situation important.
This is a wonderful, great, sir. And I also started with a mentor who has, a 3 to 5 years plan. So I'm working on that plan right now, and
Mhm.
I'm confident. Yes, we will execute that plan, and he will support me, and other people will support me. So we are working on a three years plan right now, sir.
Yeah, great.
Okay. So my next question is, sir, so there are two things I heard, many times from different startups. One is management, one is, leadership. So what management principles you follow? So you have more than 80 people team. So how do you manage all the, different functions, and what principles of management do you follow?
So I think, see, there have to be a binding value system in an organization, which then translates into culture.
Okay.
And you as a leader need to demonstrate that culture at top. And also the leaders which are there in the organization need to be held accountable to that. Right? I
Mhm.
mean, those are non-negotiable tenets, and then things flow. As I
Okay.
said, right, Microsoft had a great culture, and that really comes from like top to bottom.
Okay.
So I think three things that we typically speak often, my guys now, you know, probably remember it by heart.
Mhm.
Just give me 1 second.
Sure.
So one thing that we say is integrity, right?
Okay.
That's
Mhm.
our leadership principle, management principle, integrity, right? And there are a lot of definitions, but one of my mentors gave me a beautiful definition of what is integrity.
Mhm.
Integrity is what I say is what I do, and what I do is what I say.
Okay. Simple.
So much easy to understand, right?
Mhm.
And that's where everything that we do, for example, at Bytridge, right from the first communication that we do with the candidate
Mhm.
to tell us about ourselves and hey, would you be interested in joining us, till the
Mhm.
last day we give a relieving letter to our employee, we
Okay.
demonstrate this value everywhere. There is nothing that is spoken on phone
Mhm.
which is not documented, which is
Okay.
not referenceable.
Mhm.
When we say that the same policy applies to everyone,
Mhm.
that means that applies to me also. So if I go on a leave, or if
Mhm.
my CTO goes on a leave, he applies for a leave, right? And
Mhm.
if all my team members have 16 plus 10 holidays, then that's all we have, right?
Mhm.
So if
Okay.
we take more, then there is a salary cut for everyone,
Okay.
right? And similarly things like that. So we tell someone that you're promoted, or if so, there are no promises given, but
Mhm.
once we say that this is what you get, or this is what you will get, then you get, right? So
Okay.
whether we
Mhm.
later agree or not, but if it is there on a piece of
Paper.
email or a
Mhm.
paper, it's done, right? And that's
Okay.
how people then work with you. So if you show this kind of a characteristic, people also respond the same way. So if the
Yes.
leadership is going to be tricking everyone, then people under them also will be tricking them. So that's the
So,
first part,
mhm.
right? The second one, which is really, really important for us, is backing each other.
Okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
which is really how army is built. You understand that, right?
Yes.
But when we say backing each other, what we really say is that even backing our customers,
Okay.
backing our partners,
Mhm.
backing our team members, and like we backing our managers. So let's say if a leader gave a commitment to a customer saying that we will deliver this by this date, and
Mhm.
something went wrong,
Mhm.
so like the developer or the engineer on the team will not say that hey, I didn't give a promise, it's his headache, right? So we rally together, and if that means that if my team member is struggling with something, so I'm not going to say that hey, you're supposed to do it, I don't care, right? I mean, now unfortunately in the times of COVID we cannot, but I learned this thing from my first manager Kandar Bhatt in my first startup that I was talking about, that even though he wouldn't code,
Mhm.
if I sit in the office till 2 o'clock, at least 12 baje tak, to he will also sit,
Okay.
and there is no work that he will have, right? These are very sort of symbolic gestures, but
Mhm.
trust me, they make huge difference. I mean, you really mean it, like when you're staying there, right? So I think being there for each other is extremely important. So I love it when one of the managers or leaders comes and fights for the person below. Say, no, Vinayak, he needs to get this, or no, the company is being unfair to them, right?
Mhm.
So I need that people fight for each other. Similarly, people need to fight for customers. Ultimately, they pay us is the reason we get paid, right?
Yes, yes.
Similarly, the partners. So we have partners who are helping us with hiring. We have partners who are helping us with accounts. We have partners who are helping us with our infrastructure, right? So we need to take care. So I think that is the second one. And the last one that we have a holding one is growth mindset. And this is a question that I ask myself. There's a second question that I ask myself is, did I become better today? So when you come to the office, you walk in saying that I will do something better. But when I leave for the day, did I become better? Did I learn something new? And that's a question to yourself, right? And I think that's extremely important. So once you have these three things in place, right? You have an engineer who's working with you and saying, hey, you know what? I learned React Native last year. I want to learn Flutter. Or I'm a front-end developer. I want to become a back-end developer. If the organization believes in this kind of mindset, then the manager will be happy. The leadership will be happy, right?
Yes.
Similarly, another thing that I keep telling, don't be driven by the fear of failure. Be driven by the desire to succeed, right? So there should be no fear. I mean, I have some of the fresh folks who come from college, and they speak very openly, saying that other companies are doing this, but we are not getting this, right? And I say, yes, that is true, but how can we change that? And I'm open. We will try to make it happen. So in fact, this year we had some of the perks which got added. I said, look, you didn't get it, but we will make sure the next person who joins us gets it, right? Of course, he got another incentives for himself. So it's a very open culture. Or let's say if somebody comes and says, look, I've been working for 4 weeks continuously and there is no break, then we say it's not fair. Then instead of blaming that person or blaming the customer, we will go back and say, look at the process as to why that happened. Right? It's never the people, it's the process which creates a chaos, right? And we try to fix it. We have very classic org structure. We are a heavily engineering driven organization, so where there is very little room for non-technical people. So I think that also creates a bit of camaraderie. Everybody understands each other on what is being spoken. So we do not have like paper managers who are just moving files, right? So if you have to grow in an organization, we have engineers who have done some great work, who has grown into an architect role or as a tech manager. So they really understand. So I think that works for us. But for me, the management principle is, binding the team by these values, and people who do not subscribe to this value system automatically move out. And people who sort of subscribe to this value system love being here, right? And we don't want to hire everybody, and not everybody needs to work at ByteRidge. So I think everybody is different. Every organization is different, but these are the principles that we follow at a leadership level. And I'm glad that they have stood the test of times.
That's wonderful, sir. So is there any difference between the management and the leadership? So, or they are both same, or
the words, no, words itself are different, and I would prefer that we have leaders. I think this is one of the things that I keep discussing with my CTO, that we don't need managers, we need leaders. And I still give them the examples of some of our folks who were, I think, merely 2 or 3 years experience, and they came up and said, look, this is a new technology called Node, and the next product that we are building, we are going to build it on Node. And I said, are you sure? You need to tell me, how is it different from .NET? How is it different from, and what are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? And I come from tech background, so there was a lot of grilling that happened, but I saw the conviction of that guy, and it was a very, very important product for us. And we said, okay, go ahead. He had no designation as such. He was an engineer, right? So for a leader, you don't need designation. For a manager, you need a designation, right? And I'll tell you that here was a boy who spotted this much earlier than rest of the industry did. Of course, see, one of the incentives that he had and the risk he was taking was that, when Node becomes popular, my market value will double. Fair, given. But then that also means ByteRidge's market value doubles.
Yes.
Right. So I cannot be taking away in the fear that, oh, then this guy will leave. And he did leave for a very good compensation, and I'm very happy about it. The fact remains that we as an organization were in this whole mean and MERN stack way before even the industry was looking for talent. right? And that's really how it is. Like March, we released Flutter, and we already have like 2 to 3 products which are going out in the market. So even when people are working with us,
Mm.
they love it because they're always current. They are always on the latest technology, which is not what you get in many of the organizations that you work for, right? So that's how you can add value to them and value to career. You really don't need to pay money or spend millions of dollars to attract talent, right? These are very little things, harmless, very little effort that it takes that you can do for people to find this place interesting. So for me, I think leadership is what is important. Management is more of a responsibility, that you are responsible for a certain process, due diligence. So I see them relatively in a different way. We do have managers, but ultimately we see our managers as leaders, but we have leaders at all levels. I have a guy who's done some fantastic work on big data, and I think better than some of the guys that we already have in the AI ML space, right? For me, he's a leader, right? And that's the beauty of leader, is that it doesn't require numbers of years of experience, you knowing something, not knowing something. We have this beautiful concept at ByteIt, which is called Friday Socials. It was just an idea which was incubated, and I said, let's do it. I really love it because there's so much of fun and the tech sharing that happens. So I think the person who drove it to me is a leader, and I value that kind of contribution, that he's at it, right? See, ultimately, I told you, what do you need as an entrepreneur? You need grit.
Right.
And if somebody takes an initiative and takes it forward, for me, that's beautiful, right? So we are looking for leaders, and we have a lot of
Okay.
leaders in this organization.
Yes, yes.
Managers, I think those are responsibilities.
Okay, wonderful, Sandra. But I have seen, in my career till now, like for initially 6 7 years, I was with managers, So I grown up with the managers. Now I'm, moving to the leadership. So I see there is a little difference between leadership and the management. So managers.
You have
So
to inspire people. Leaders have to inspire, not by virtue of their talks, but
by
by
doing.
virtue of their actions. Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
Like I think some of my favorite managers in Microsoft and Oracle were true leaders, so to speak, right? And I really look up to them, and at times I try to imitate them, and I don't mind that. But yes, you need to inspire people in that sense.
okay, sir. That is wonderful. And you are running for long marathons, and I've seen multiple. So how you are doing that, and how that is building the values for the companies, for the self, for the family. So how that is going on? How do you plan that, and how do you take time for doing that?
It's very interesting that you ask this. In fact, I told you, right, you need to discover yourself,
Right.
right? You need
Yes,
to
in the
know who you
first.
are. And I think running made me realize also one more time that who am I, right? I think somewhere, I think endurance is my psyche. Like despite the pain, despite the challenges, I can be at it for much longer. I was a relatively physically active guy from my childhood. So even in AIT, except for squash, that's the only sport I don't play and I don't like,
Okay.
because the fact that if you hit the ball so hard, it still goes like, there's no gratification till you really start smashing it well, right? I've literally played all sports and reasonably well, be it soccer, cricket, basketball, uh, and few others that you have, TT, badminton. I think we spent all our time in college playing those. I don't know when we studied. In fact, when I worked in my jobs, even at Microsoft, we were blessed to have so many facilities like those. So people would ask my manager, "Ki yaar ye Vinayak, when does he work?" Right? So they had pool tables, they had this thing, and he says, "I don't know when he works, but he gets the work done, and that's what matters." Right? So there were leaders like those. In corporate world, if you're seen playing TT table or this thing, pool means your hike or bonus is at stake, right? But
Yes, yes.
I had this amazing manager at Microsoft who would play with me, right? And we used to have like awesome pool games, and we still think of those by name Mahesh Tharmal. He's my role model, a mentor, right? So that was an organization which told me that how it should be. So I've been fairly physically active. when I started, I still played basketball and soccer. But what really happened is when family starts, like when I had my first kid, then the time started becoming an issue. And whatever you do, whoever you are, it's important that you are at home taking care of family responsibilities. So that's what I'll tell everyone. Nobody is so busy that you let your wife take care of everything. You have to be equal partner in their journeys. It's your family, your kids. So you cannot claim that, oh, I'm very busy. And even if your wife is housewife, I don't recommend that you let her handle the house. Your kids need to see you contributing at home. So what that really resulted is that there was not much time left for me to play all these sports. But then I wasn't feeling good, and I really wanted to do something. Uh, what I figured out is that I'm blessed in a way that my wife doesn't wake up till 7 o'clock. So that means I had that window of 1 hour where if I woke up at 5:36, I had 1 hour where I could do something. But then my friends have grown too old who wouldn't show up for the game. So the only option that I was left with was running. And I'll tell people that when I started running in 2014, I think there was a very simple goal that I had set for myself. 5 days a week, I will go out. There are days when I have stepped out and run for 5 minutes and I've come back just to get a tick to the fact that I stepped out. And I think it's like starting up, right? The most important thing is you start, right? It doesn't matter whether you ran a kilometer, you ran 2 kilometers, it's immaterial. Did you put yourself in that habit of running? So I started this and I started enjoying, especially mornings are really good for people who do not wake up early. So I think that fresh air itself used to liven me up. And almost for 5-6 years, I've run like 4 kilometers every day. But the goal was that I will step out every at least 5 days a week, right? And then there are no excuses, right? So if there is a bad day, you know that you can cover it up next day. Now, what happened is, I think there was a moment where I ran beyond 5 kilometers and I felt sick. And then I said, okay, this is my limit. This is all I can run. And I think almost for 2 years, I didn't run beyond 5 because I knew if I run beyond 5 kilometers, I will fall sick. Then I moved to another society where there were runners, and they said, hey, Vinayak, we see you every day in the mornings. Why don't you join us for running? We go to nearby parks and stuff. And I'm really someone who's limited on time. So I kept ignoring that. But one of the Saturdays, I think my family was not here. They had gone to their hometown. I said, chalo, aaj inke saath chalte hain. I have nothing to do. And I loved that company. I'm telling you, after Microsoft, that was the best thing that happened to me. Amazing people. And I didn't know that I was actually running 10 kilometers and 15 kilometers with them without breaking sweat. I told them that, look, if I run beyond 5 kilometers, I will fall sick. And they said, koi nahi, if you fall sick, we'll take care of you. Right? And amazing people. They are from various companies, various walks, but their thing is that, they love running and they have imbibed that feeling for running. And just to tell you that they ran with me like with full care. Like I was a small baby who was running this 42 kilometers, right? The three of them ran with me, like 3 or 4 of them. And the kind of encouragement and support that I've received so far is like just mind blowing. That when I ran my first ultra marathon, the 2 guys were with me and they made sure that I completed it. Then when I did my 67 kilometers, I called up a couple of them, Kiya, I'm taking this panga. And they said, don't worry, you will be fine. You will be fine. So after running 67, next month, they have even encouraged me to run a 12-hour marathon. And they said, you can do it, right? But what I'll say is these things also happen because you have right people around you. You're an average of 5 people that you spend time with. So make sure those 5 people are right people, or at least they take you towards the direction that you want to head in. And as I said, I would like to see myself as a people person. So I've been blessed with a lot of good people around me, my mentors, my team members, family, which all comes together. So I think I would strongly encourage people to run. This was the most natural thing that humans were doing before the technology came. And I think having a healthy life is your responsibility to yourself and to your family and people who rely on you. Like if I fall sick, or let's say, especially in the times of Corona, if something is to go wrong, I must recognize that it's not just my family which is dependent on me, but there are 80 others, and then there are maybe 15 other customers who are dependent on me, and hence it's very, very important that I take very good care of myself. Running is a fantastic way. All you need is a shoe and get out of the bed. Doesn't matter whether you run 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers, but just going out in the open, breathing fresh air is extremely important, and one must do it. I'm glad that I picked it up a little late. No complaints there, and I hope. And my only wish is that there are no desires on which marathon I want to run, what distance I want to cover. The only desire is that I should keep running, and that's how I approach my journey here.
Okay, that's wonderful. And I thought of running as well. I started running 2-3 kilometers on the daily basis, and I thought of just thought came in my mind that I must run beyond 10 kilometers, and I also ran a marathon like 6 kilometers. I once run, but I was not able to continue it. Somehow I am not able to continue. Still, I am not able to continue it. So I will
So
take.
ask the why. So I think what you have to say is, why are you running? And that's a question that a lot of my relatives and friends ask, like, why do you run, man? What's gone wrong with you, right? And I think for me, it's very clear that this is this seems like a best way to keep myself healthy, right? And I have no other way to keep myself healthy. And I have responsibilities which must be honored. There are so many people who trust me, so I cannot be casual about my health. And once you are clear with that, then you will not stop.
Yes, I'm clear. I'm much clear about that as well. Like I have to break my limits. So this is in my mind.
So you can have different reasons. You
Yes,
can have
yes.
different reasons. You need not have mine. Like I have people who have made up their mind that they have to, finish a marathon in less than 3 hours. Right? Fantastic. I don't see any issue, and that works for that person. Right? So I think you will continue running if you are clear on your why. Why do you run? Or somebody has that, I want to run this Ladakh marathon or Boston marathon. I want to put it on my Facebook wall. Fantastic. I mean, good reason to run.
Yes, that's wonderful, and I will continue taking advice from you. So on a regular basis, to run it and to make it health as my priority as well. And yeah, so it was a lovely discussion, sir. It was a wonderful discussion, and you shared so many amazing things, and I am really pleased with them. So thank you, sir, once again for giving your time, sharing your thoughts, and it was wonderful discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karan, and wish you all the best. Thanks for inviting me here and putting me in front of your audience. I wish all of them luck, and I hope the 45 minutes that they've spent with us was valuable to them. And good luck for your journey ahead. Thank you, guys.